You hear that, Connor?
I do hear it.
You hear that?
What are
We're
we
celebrating?
What are we celebrating?
Well, today, Wishworld came out, the penultimate episode of Season 2 of Doctor Who.
And we're not dead?
And, spoiler alert, Omega's coming back.
Oh.
Which means I don't have to watch Empire of Death 8 times on repeat. That was my bet.
it.
And today, I don't have to do that.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Why does every bet you make come through and the ones that I make don't?
Because I'm smart, intelligent, and Russell T Davies is my dad.
And you're just, you got a finger on the pulse. You just
That's
knew he
it.
was coming back.
No, I really had... Cut the bullshit. I
Cut
lost...
the copyright.
I'd lost all hope in this. I'd come to terms with the fact that I was going to have to put a morning aside and slap on Empire of Death for 8 hours. But, so when they did say Omega in this episode, I was like, oh!
Were you more excited with Omega returning or more excited that you just didn't have to watch Empire of Death 8 times?
More excited that I didn't have to watch Empire of Death.
That would make more sense, I
Because
think.
it literally happened and I was like, oh, fuck yeah! I'd lost hope, Connor. I was in a dark place.
Okay, yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't think that... I think I said in the preview pod for this episode that he might come back, and here we are, so...
I didn't see it happening. Until they like sort of mentioned like the underworld or something, I was like, could that be Omega-esque? I was like grasping on straws. I was like, please just make him come back somehow.
It would have made a fun YouTube video, but now you don't get it. So.
Now I'm going to have to do it just for fun, aren't I? I've still got to run my 5Ks listening to Only. There's always a twist at the end.
I got to do my goatee. So.
Yeah.
I was going to do it for one of the finals reviews, but like I was like, a lot more people will be tuned into this than they would normally, and I didn't want people to think that I have a goatee all the time.
No, I think you should do that.
Oh,
okay.
There's always next week. There's always Reality War review.
There is. Can't wait for that one. We are the 50% Doctor Who podcast. Thank you everyone for watching and listening so far. It's been awesome having you around this season. We're so close to 2,000 subscribers.
We are.
So we're going to review Wishworld. And if you like what you hear, if you like what you're in for, please consider subscribing. We'd love to get to the big old 2K before the end of season 2.
Yeah, I messaged you a couple of weeks ago and I was like 2K at the end of series 2 and you were like, ridiculous, laughable.
And here we are.
And here we are. We're close. So we got like a week to go before.
Yeah.
So please,
let's
try and do it. Make it happen.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor and on TikTok at 50Doctor Who. We love you.
Subscribe.
We love you so much.
Content.
50 podcast.
Okay. Here we are.
Yeah, so
Back in the studio.
To talk about Wishworld, which is season 2, episode 7. Traps are sprung and old enemies unite as the Doctor and Belinda finally arrive home to find a very different world. Can the Doctor see the truth before midnight arrives?
Not a midnight reference.
No, midnight creature did not come back, unfortunately.
No more sneaky looks at what it looks like.
I watched this one live. First episode of the season I watched live.
Yes.
Which was great to sit down and actually just jump onto Twitter afterwards and see what the vibe was.
Okay.
In fact, it was underwhelming because I felt like I was ahead. Like people hadn't posted yet and I was like trying to find people's thoughts.
Yeah, it takes a good hour or so for people to jump on and fully see everyone's thoughts and stuff.
Disappointing because I was on the biz by that point, so it's...
Right. I didn't post anything. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah, so I guess my thoughts are a mystery to Aidan Green.
Yeah.
A mystery.
Yeah, and then I watched it again this morning. So still done the 2 watch, which is great.
Okay.
And I feel exactly the same after watching it both times, which is just kind of like, yeah, all right. Like I just, like both times I kind of finished it and was like, anyways, on with my day. Okay. I very much enjoy some of the concepts in here. And I think the first half is really fun. And then I think the last act is just like, holy shit, exposition. And
this isn't just exposition, Doctor.
Thank you, Rani. And it's just like, it just gets really dumb, I think. And I think there's a much better version of the story out there. I think there's a story where you make the Doctor a bit more active and he's the one that, you know, you don't, we'll talk about this in a bit, but don't bring back Rogue to tell the Doctor to do these things. Like the Doctor, it'll be much more interesting if you make the Doctor and Belinda, or John Smith and Belinda Smith characters similar to Human Nature Family Blood, where we actually give a shit about them and maybe they have to, it becomes like a 1984, the George Orwell novel where it's like, they're like caged in and they want to like break out from this really restrictive world. And maybe the first part is them two figuring out that they need to break out. We really get to know them as characters, but their whole thing is we need to break out so that the world can live and be restored to what it once was.
This wish world.
I think it would be a much more interesting way than just like, as they start to get hints of what the world is, they get captured by the Popo, and then the Popo are like, hey, this is what's happening. I'm the Rani, motherfucker. But you already knew that, so the reveal didn't really work.
Right.
What did you think of this episode, Connor?
Yeah, this is just like white bread, man. It's standard.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, I enjoyed myself watching it.
I agree.
I think. But then I was like, I haven't rewatched it because I don't really feel the need to or want to. And I don't know if it'll be a very fun episode to like just rewatch. It relies heavily on next week.
Yeah.
Which is what Legend of Ruby Sunday did. Legend of Ruby Sunday and this episode are very similar, like pacing wise, because it's a lot of build up. It's a lot of questions. And the end is just like answers. And then tune in next week to see it all wrap up. And it's like, goodness me, what is going on?
I don't think this one even gave us any answers at the end. It just, because we already knew the Rani stuff. All it said was the word Omega. That means nothing to anyone, not even me. Like, I'm like, what does he have to do with this story? But then also what I'll give Legend of Ruby Sunday and why it's a slightly better episode than this is that Legend of Ruby Sunday at least has character beats. This episode has none because you don't care about the characters that John Smith and Belinda Smith are. They don't give you a reason other than maybe a little bit with the kid early on.
Because they don't exist, you know.
But it's like we gave a shit about John Smith and human nature. At least Legend of Ruby Sunday had the whole stuff with like Kate and the Doctor talking about Brigadier's dad and the Doctor talking about Susan, things like that were great moments. But yeah.
Sure, yeah. I think aesthetically, like, it's cool.
Looks amazing.
Even like the unit episode, and so the unit sets and stuff, like, you know, redoing them and things like that.
Yeah.
I think there's some really cool concepts and ideas here. The idea of the well being crafted by Conrad, I think is... And what? So I rolled my eyes heavily at the opening scene. I thought that was just kind of lame.
Oh, yeah.
Turning people into owls and
I was like, what is going on?
Turning kids into, was it ducks?
Yeah.
They say two things, Aiden: don't work with children and don't work with animals.
Yeah, I mean,
a third.
They say that in Unleashed.
A third: don't work with Russell T Davies. How about that? It's funny when when they had the duck scene. It's like they couldn't control the ducks because it was like a shot of like a table and they were all in just like one little pile.
Yeah,
all just hanging out as
I
mates.
think it didn't go to plan, and they said that in Unleashed. It was a bit of a heinous day trying to work with the ducks. So I feel like it did. Yeah. You could tell especially because like you saw the transition into violets, and it was weird the way that it cut.
Yeah,
and they didn't show the transition into the ducks. It was like they just weren't able to get what they wanted.
Yeah, they're all just in like hanging in like maybe it's a fucking loaf of bread in the middle of the table or something, and they're all after it. So this kid, the eighth son of the eighth son,
the seventh son of the seventh
son of the seventh son. Just laughing, baby.
Yeah.
So who is this little creature?
The god of wishes.
The god of wishes, and that then lets Conrad create this roll credits wish world.
Yes.
That is strangely like the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone book cover.
Yeah.
Russell's like, you all love Harry Potter these days, don't you, folks? That's not controversial at all. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I think it's the opposite. I think because this is tackling a lot of the issues that perhaps a certain author... actually, no. Yeah. We don't need to go into the JK stuff, but...
I guess that could be...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
We know JK's a divisive figure, and I feel like maybe this is a mild counter-argument to that.
Okay. No. Yeah. I do change my point of view on the podcast. Sometimes I come with some negatives and switch them around. I think that's actually fair enough.
That's what I'm here for.
So yeah, this wish world has been created. There's why are there big dinosaurs walking around?
Big dino doggies.
Big dinosaurs walking around. I don't know.
Don't know what they're up to.
It's a bony world.
Yeah, a lot of boners.
And I think the concept itself is good. I guess I was expecting maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sat here just watching a load of build up. And at the beginning I was quite invested, I guess, into the whole idea of like the John Smith and stuff, and the idea of, you know, Ruby is more connected to the old world than others. But I think halfway through the episode, I was like, when is the Doctor going to come back?
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit bored of this John Smith.
Yeah.
And why did the tables do that? Was it just a glitch?
Yeah, well, Rani was trying to... Rani wanted the reality to slip. So I think she was trying to drop hints, like tables don't do that. It was like her way of...
Right, it was the doubt.
Yeah, she was trying to put doubts in, like, hold on a minute, why do tables not hold my cups?
Right.
You know,
okay.
that was my assumption at least.
Okay, creating like anxiety and stuff, and
yeah.
And I think the concept as well of the, you know, Conrad's views of the world of being like anti-gay and stuff, and, you know, the idea that if you're disabled, that's not okay and you're not part of the world itself. And they're kind of, because Conrad doesn't even think about them, there's that section of people who have disabilities that are almost like off the grid and have more of a concept of what is going on and Conrad's lies. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's by far some of the most interesting stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's spooky as when the doctor says, like, don't be stupid, you're a beautiful man to Ibram. And and he turns around and he's like, what? You can't think I'm a beautiful man? And like, just the vibe, like, and that's what I mean. Like, I would have loved to explore like a 1984 where it's like, he starts to slip up and he starts to say these things and people start to come for him.
Yeah.
And it's not just this super easy, something happens and they take him up to the tower at the end. Like, it would be much more interesting to get themselves up to the tower or something. And then, But it's interesting concepts and just not executed that well. I want to give a shout out to the direction though.
I agree.
I think not necessarily like the most interesting shots, but beautifully lit. I thought, and some of the blocking was really good.
Yeah. It's our Joy to the World director.
Joy to the World director. That's right, Alex Sanjeev Pillai.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's maybe an interesting pick for a final. You know, I think we've seen some better directing this series, but you know, I think it works well enough. Unfortunately, I feel like, you know, we're at the end of series 2 now. We're really deep in this era, and I'm feeling like I am just really not finding. I was just reading Twitter then before we went on to record. And it feels like, and people are saying this, even like big fans of the show like us are saying it, who don't want to like complain and bitch and moan all the time. But these reveals now and episodes like this, there's just not a lot of weight behind them.
No.
I feel like.
Because we've already got the
Rani.
Rani.
It's not a big reveal, you know.
We've already got the Rani, and then it's like, oh, now we'll throw in Omega as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw in another one of these gods. And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's too much.
And then we're going to have Susan.
Yep.
Like, it's way too much.
It's too much. It's
way too much.
There's no, like, I don't know how it's all going to be resolved in, like, a nice bow and stuff. I think I was expecting this episode to be more of a plot, a part one to, like, the narrative and the plot.
Yeah, I agree.
But it seemed like just another episode of just, like, build up that I think you can enjoy while watching, but there's just no weight behind it.
I don't think it gave us any more questions or anything really either, other than
Not
like
really.
when they said Omega. Like, that's the only thing. Like, because other than that, we still have no clue really. And we know Miss Flood's the Rani, but we don't know, like, why is Miss Flood's everyone's neighbor?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Why is she everywhere? Like that. There has to be a reason behind that.
I don't know. And
I'm starting to get very worried that this is another case of there not being a good answer and Russell just not really answering and just saying it's because she's the Rani.
Yeah.
Like
and the Rani's everywhere.
And it's the same thing as the Ruby Sunday reveal. We thought it was a great mystery that went through the whole season last year, and then it came and it was just there to get people talking. And I really am worried, and I hope I'm not right in this, but I really don't think that we are going to explore Mrs. Flood now. Like, I think she's just going to be part of the Rani, and then the plot is going to be this whole Omega thing. And I think that's super disappointing.
I thought there would have been a scene in this episode where the Doctor sees Mrs. Flood and goes like, I know you, I've seen you before. Like,
yeah, that would make sense.
Like, even Belinda as well, because it's her neighbor.
Belinda's neighbor.
And I thought maybe there'd be a scene where like they're like, oh, I mean, because they're trying to push this whole idea of doubt, and it's like, but I do know you, but I don't, and it's like
just a quick little thought, and they can expand on it next week.
But
maybe.
nothing.
But, yeah,
not a single line about having past interactions with this woman.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, very, very disappointing, I thought. there. Still, like I do think I had fun like through a lot of it, but there's just so much. I just have so much doubt going into this next one now. Like again, we have Mel back to do nothing. She's got like 3 lines of dialogue, and it's like we thought Mel was coming back to actually give her the Russell T Davies treatment of giving her a better character. And giving
it's
her
like
shit
the,
to do.
the past is just repeating itself.
Yeah, but it's like every episode she's in, she gets like 3 lines. Even Legend of Ruby Sunday, she had more to do than in this. So it's really disappointing. And look, I like Archie who plays the Rani. I think she does a good job at playing her. But like, good God, like I do not care about this character.
I wanted to ask you about this. So you've seen one Rani story.
I have, Time of the Rani.
Right. Yeah, because I can't really comment on this. I don't know the Rani character. I haven't seen any of the episodes. I've seen some people make comments about it. So yeah, what are you thinking about all this stuff?
It's not so much. I know people have been going on like, oh, she's a scientist. Why does she want to rule the world and stuff? And I understand where that's coming from. I think people are getting hyper fixated on the word scientist at the moment, and people might not have even seen those classic stories and everything they know about the Rani is a scientist. And they're like, but she's not acting like a scientist. I'd say I'm interested to see what she wants to do with Omega, because Omega being, one of the founding members of Gallifrey back in the day. Sorry, Omega.
Oh yeah, the comment.
Fuckers in the comments.
Yeah, get it right. Fuck off.
I think that's interesting because he's obviously a big Time Lord scientist guy.
Yeah,
so
it's the return of the Time Lords, really. Susan, Omega, the Rani.
Yeah, but her being a scientist wanting to like resurrect or return Omega, like the goat scientist.
The OG Time Lords, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I understand that as a scientist plot device. But my problem with her is like, I just don't understand her character. Like, I don't know what she is in this because all we got of her was 10, 15 minutes of her delivering exposition.
And it's not exposition, Doctor.
But there's no character to go alongside of it. The only thing they give you is some really half-baked, made-up fan fiction thing of they used to call us lovers, Doctor?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
What are we doing? Why are we adding this random-ass shit into these stories?
Yeah, it's pushing my buttons a bit because all this stuff is happening. I don't know. It's like, I think Russell's more like, we're just bringing back all this stuff that people will know. Well, fans would know. It's like my best mate watches this show with his partner, and it's like, she would have no idea who the Rani is, Omega. These reveals at the end would mean diddly squat. No. It's just a name being said.
Exactly.
So it's like, how this is a jumping on point is just like,
the worst of all New Who. Season 1 and 2.
I mean, Jesus, you're just going to be so. I barely know Omega. I've seen the 3 Doctors.
Yeah, you've not seen the Rani.
I've not seen the Rani once.
Yeah,
but also I'm not that invested to even care to even do my research. I saw Doctor Who Found 91 did a background video on the Rani. I'm sure it's incredible, but like, I just don't really care about doing my research on this character because I don't trust that it's going to be done well enough to be justice to even really give a shit to get invested into this.
Yeah.
And now we have the next episode, Reality War, which now has to give Omega time to shine when I feel like we haven't even given Rani 2 time to shine, and then Mrs. Flood, also the Rani. Conrad, this baby. And it's like...
Susan.
And also we are...
Evil Susan.
Susan. And then somehow wrap up Belinda's arc.
Getting home, yep.
With a character that... She wants to get home. That's her arc. That's
but even that, like, I don't... It's like I've not really felt that since episode 3. Like,
no.
Past that, it's like we've so far away from the pitch.
You're right, yeah.
And once again, like, why is Belinda not giving shit to do? Like,
no.
I love Verada. I think she's done an incredible job.
I agree.
Like, every episode, she turns up and does a great job, but she just keeps getting these scripts where she's just like a 1980s Doctor Who companion. Like, I'm sorry, but she doesn't have a lot to do in the scripts.
I hate to say it. I'm not trying to sound like a dick because I genuinely do think everyone involved in the show, like acting-wise, is really great. But there are a lot of times, because you watch enough TV, I think, and you start to notice this stuff. So I sounded so wanky. If you watch enough TV...
If you watch as much TV
as I do, as yours truly. But I think you can tell sometimes when like an actor is struggling to read lines that are just or like just being in a script that is just not good. And I think you could tell a lot this season sometimes and I noticed this with Vard last week, and I noticed it this week with Millie. I just think some lines are just like, they're just not good. Yeah. And I think these are great actresses and actors with like Shooty as well, trying to deliver these lines they're trying to give it their all, but there's nothing really holding it up. That it just doesn't, you don't believe it, you know? And I think that is a crying shame.
I agree.
It's a crying shame.
Yeah.
Because we have such talent here, and it just, I read something the other day, and this really fucked me off. Juno said for last week that she didn't know about Belinda's character. She wrote that episode not knowing about who the companion was.
Right.
And that really pisses me off. It's like, what is
that's
going on?
That's why you end up with one of our biggest complaints about last week is, why do you have a character who is a nurse taking up the role that Belinda should be doing?
Yes.
Yeah, so
exactly.
that totally explains that.
It's not fair on your writers who are coming in. It will be so difficult to be writing for a character that you don't know, and that's why there's been character like inconsistencies and stuff. I don't want to, I'm not trying to read into any of this shit with what happened with Millie and stuff.
I don't believe that. I don't.
It's interesting to me that it's like, what are we doing with her? Is she forever going to be this companion that's just on Earth? Will she be? Is this kind of like the end for her? Is she going to be in series 3? I don't know, but it feels like they've just there's a halt on these characters, and they're not going any further. I don't know who this doctor is, and I guess luckily that's good. That's lucky for me, because this week the doctor is John Smith, so it doesn't matter about that, you know. But it's there is nothing for me to hold on to. I have no idea what's going on. I don't get this doctor. I don't get these motives. And then you're throwing in you're just throwing in names. You're throwing in Omega, you're throwing in Lorani. Oh, Jonathan Grossback filming in his bedroom in New York City with a green screen for this pointless cameo that I guess is cool, but it's it's like seeing Susan last week. I guess it's cool. I like this character. And it's like seeing Joe Martin's doctor. I guess it's cool. I like this character. But it's
what does it mean? Where is the character work of all this going?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, Aiden. I'm falling apart here a little bit. I just don't think it's good TV. I hate to say it. I was out last night, I was like, if I wasn't a fan of this show, as much as I am, I've been watching for 20 years, I would have stopped watching
100%
years ago.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Sorry, I'm really ranting. You say some things.
No, I'm trying to set the tone a little bit for us.
Skyfall? It's the end. I've had enough. I've seen fans on Twitter be like, this might be the end of Doctor Who for me. It needs to go on a break.
I mean, we'll obviously keep watching it forever, but it is really just, I'm struggling to really, like you said, you watch good TV and then you watch this and you're like, it's just
if
not
you watch
that.
enough TV like us.
But you watch stuff that Russell has written in the past and it's so good and it's so clever, and we just don't have that this year. And it sucks. I hate saying it because we've had such a good run of episodes. But the moment we try and step outside of these little episodes and do big story character beats, you just realize how hollow some of the characterization throughout the season is, and how unthought out a lot of the plotting of the season is. And it just kills me. It just kills me. And now Omega's back and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing isn't that hugely telling that you don't give a shit? I mean, this is, the Rani and Omega has been it's almost become a meme online where it's every series is I wonder if they're coming back, you know? And now that they're actually here, I think we're all just so exhausted. I'm also just so sick of they said this about Marvel movies so much back in the day. It always ends up with something in the sky and the world ending.
Yeah,
you know,
it feels like that, doesn't it?
And here we saw the black cab. It's there's the black cab that we saw from episode 1 at the end. Which, by the way, people were making fun of us on YouTube for saying that it was a shit ending and silly. Now who looks stupid? Because this is dumb, you know? I don't fucking care. The The whole of the world is falling into a reality.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to burst your balloon, Aiden, but I'm pretty sure at the end of next week's episode, everything will be fine again.
I think that might happen.
So you don't have to worry, okay?
I thought it was a silly cliffhanger as well. The balcony just being exploded off and him falling down. Because I literally remember being like, the cliffhanger was not having me going, oh my God. Like there was no like oomph of like what's going to happen next. There was, which you did have at the end of Legend of Ruby Sunday. You were like, oh my God, the Sutek's back. All this stuff was going on. But like we didn't get Omega back, for example. Like I feel like maybe bringing Omega back or saving the Rani reveal for that moment, or just it needed something to be like, this is a cliffhanger. Because now it was like all we got was about 5 minutes before they mentioned Omega's name, and we're like, well, maybe we'll see Omega, maybe we won't. Who knows? And then Shooty's just fallen off a balcony.
Yeah, that looked really bad. Excuse me, sorry. And I will say this as well. I guess one thing I did like, and I think what the fuck is going on with me? Excuse me.
Just want attention. You want some attention?
We're both coughing, Aiden. What's going on?
I've been coughing for 3 weeks, mate. I'm done with it.
I guess the only thing I'm really excited for next week is to see like the Omega like redesign and stuff. Because I think the original actors passed away. So there'll be like a recast and stuff. So I'm interested to see.
Well, he's already had 2 designs, so
Jonathan Groff's is Omega.
Oh my God.
Well, he's at the center of some.
He's deep in there, apparently. Yeah.
I hate how Jonathan Groff is like, I miss you, I love you. And it's like, you knew each other for fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
The shed was a memory of the TARDIS.
This whole episode is giving that.
It was very Shed as the TARDIS kind of thing.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Where can we... Because we don't want to be so doom and gloom. And like we said, it was a fun enough watch, but then you get to the end and you're like, it's kind of a little bit meaningless, which is where our frustrations in this review have been. But where do we go? What do we want, I guess, from...
Detonate the reality bomb!
What do we want from the reality war that can sort of steer the ship? Because there is a world where reality war, even though we did just end with 10 minutes of exposition that killed all the momentum, there is a world where reality war is really good and we come in excited and we're like, oh, part 1 actually did work. Bit of exposition at the end, but it's not exposition.
Yeah. It's not exposition, Doctor, yeah.
Yeah, where do we go? What do you want?
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, I am complaining quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I think I enjoy this episode enough on a watch. And I think, and that's it really. I don't really feel the need to ever rewatch this episode again. But what I will say is, yes, a lot of setup, but I think there could be some cool payoff in the reality war. I could see there being some good stuff in there, some good scenes with Omega and stuff, some good scenes with Rani. It's a lot to wrap up.
Yeah.
But I think it could be interesting. Give me some great scenes, some great character beats. This idea, I would love this idea of like a revolution of this world that's been taken over by deception and this like revolution.
That'd be
like,
nice.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, I'd like that.
And just, I guess I'm curious to see however it does wrap up, because we're so close now to finding out what even is just going to be happening with the show with all this Disney stuff, and when and if we're going to be getting a series 3 or if Shooty's staying. I think my curiosity is there for this episode, but I'm not really holding my breath for the plot because I've just been let down so much. Honestly, I just go into Doctor Who now and I become like a pudding brain, as the 12th Doctor would say. And it just numbs me out and I'm like, okay, that was fine. Yeah. But I can see this episode having some good beats. Just give me some good Omega. Give me some good exposition for, it's not exposition, but give me some good stuff for the Rani and some good payoff.
Yeah.
Maybe explain Mrs. Flood. Try and do something with Conrad. Give me satisfying stuff with Susan. This is so much.
Connor's like, I'm a simple man. All I ask for is
this
open
this.
checklist.
Well, this
and this one and this one as well. Please,
well,
thank
sorry,
you.
Russell, but that's what you fucking given me to like.
It is
have paid off. And you know, am I a dumbass? But like the Doctor's saying about Poppy, like Poppy is my daughter. Is that actually, so that is his daughter? Am I tripping?
We'll find out next week.
Okay.
But
I'm
there
not
is-
against that. I kind of like that idea. But I don't want Poppy to be present, a hugely present character.
What, you don't want in season 3 Shooter to be running around with like a Zach Galifianakis
The
hangover?
Bamboos, or whatever it's called.
Like the baby
Yeah.
thing.
Well, there is a oh God,
Saving
could you-
Daleks. Sorry,
could
baby,
you-
don't look.
Could you, yeah, well, it's like, it is very Marvel-esque as well, because like, I don't watch Marvel movies.
You sound like you do.
No, I don't. I got a sticky beak. I watch Grace Randolph and I watch her spoiler reviews and stuff. Because I like to see a sinking ship sometimes. But like,
So, well, you're watching one at the moment.
well, exactly. They're kind of doing the Young Avengers in this new. Well, they're in phase fucking 1000 now at Marvel. But like, they're doing all the young kids and stuff. I've gone too far. And it's like that awful Thor: Love and Thunder movie. Like, it ended with. Thor with his like new adopted daughter and stuff, and I could see Russell watching that being like marvelous, absolutely marvelous. Like I'll give the Doctor a daughter and stuff, and I guess that then leads into Susan being the offspring of this daughter, which then means it's the granddaughter of the Doctor, because the Doctor says in Legend of Ruby Sunlight, I haven't had kids yet. This is so I'm like that, that meme of Charlie Day and Always Sunny with the stuff in the background. He's like this.
Sounds Hit Tube presents
The fuck is this?
royalty-free sounds.
Royalty
Sorry,
free
I was
sounds. This can't be. Was that me a second ago coughing?
This is the reality war.
Yeah. Doctor, we have to stop the Rani. Did you like seeing Belinda's mum
Oh, it was nice to see Belinda's mum.
and Belinda's gran? No dad.
No dad.
No dad.
No
Where's
dad.
Where's dad?
Dad's busy. He was working. He's a working class man.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
He's saving up to go out on the weekends to sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you still sing in this wish world? Is singing okay?
Yeah. Everyone's saying Doctor Who's gone woke. This is the opposite of woke, this episode. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's a world where no wokeness is just a word that's gone off. You know? There's no wokeness.
No woke.
There's no people who are gay. There's no people who are in wheelchairs. We can't have that,
Yeah, which again, like all the wheelchair and disabled community stuff, I thought was really interesting, but just would love more of it. Like, I don't know, all these little things, these little communities and things that Russell stands up for in the scripts are great, but like he's just sort of like pulled them all together in one, like every sort of issue with society, and you're just sort of like, well, what are we going to do with all these things that we have around us now?
Yeah, I literally just saw a job in disability this week, so it was cool to see, and I think that stuff's important, and I think it was handled well. Just too much going on and not enough substance.
Yeah, I think you have your checklist of a million things for the finale to do for you.
Yeah.
I sort of have that too, but for me, the most important thing is just give me some character moments, and I think. I say Russell should deliver on that, but he didn't really in Empire.
Aiden's knuckles.
Yes, that was an accident actually. He gave us like a couple of scenes at the end of Empire, which were great character moments, but before that, didn't really have anything that ticked the box for me. So that's all I want. Like, I don't care. Like, maybe Omega never shows up. Who gives a shit?
Oh, you thought there was great moments in Empire? What you mean when they pointed at a sign and named Ruby Sunday?
I was crying.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah, you were. I was sat next to you. I saw. I was like, "Hey, you crying?" I'm like, "No, you're wiping the tear away." No.
I did see a comment that came up today when I was asking for reviews, and we'll go through this in tomorrow's pod. But it was talking about like how this just feels like like someone put all the prompts of what Doctor Who is and the villains into AI and was like, now make me script.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just what this feels like. Like it's got all the Doctor Who things in there, but just no like emotions and substance that makes it stand out.
Am I talking to an AI?
Nice use of the soundbite. Oh, the cancelled bit on the show.
Not allowed to talk about AI.
Yeah, before they cancelled us. Yeah.
Yeah. What is this, Mission Impossible?
Yeah. Gabriel?
All right, should we do the whiteboard?
The ether's got us, Ethan.
Should we do the
Yeah,
whiteboard?
fuck this episode. It's boring as shit. I'm boring myself talking about it.
Yeah, so am I. There's nothing to talk about. Yes. All right, so my whiteboard. Will it go in best of the best? Great, not goat. Fun and flirty. So good until you're not. Kind of good, kind of shit. Or ass. We need a section for sleepy weebies. Honestly, like, because a big part of me wants to put it in so good until you're not. Because I do think it's fun early on. It is really fun early on, and then it kind of goes to the pits of hell. It's definitely not ass.
I agree.
It's definitely not ass. So I guess it's kind of good, kind of shit.
Yeah, your categories are maybe a bit all over the place again.
It's like we need we've reached new levels of disappointment.
Well, you put Legend of Ruby Sunday in kind of good, kind of shit, and you were just talking about it much higher than.
Yeah, I think it's better than it, but it's like
It's still the same category.
yeah.
Sack Russell T Davis.
Well, I mean, yeah.
What a fantastic. Yeah, I
What a
think
great pod.
I think that's fair. Kind of good, kind of shit. Yeah, nah. You.
Because there is good. It's
Yeah.
just the frustrating things are so frustrating
Yeah.
because we're here again.
Yeah.
We're having the same conversations.
This is what I mean. It gets exhausting.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I just feel like I've been in this spot with Doctor Who ever since Peter left. So Peter left in 2017.
Yeah.
17? Yeah. God, I'm getting old. And then I think since then, I've just struggled with Doctor Who narratively, and I've not understood my favorite character in fiction, which is the Docky. I've just not understood this character. And at this point now, it's been so long, it's been so many years, and it's just getting exhausting.
Connor's ready to quit.
I would never quit.
Need the AdSense.
Don't think I could stop if I tried, baby. I will always love Doctor Who, but I think that I always say on the show, I'm like, I just want Doctor Who to be on the air, and I do, but
Be nice if it was on the air and good.
yeah, it's like I don't know what to recommend, but like I think there needs to be. Honestly, I just want a hard reset. Give me some fucking Andor type shit where it's like we don't mention the Rani, Omega.
Yeah.
Susan,
That was sort of what this was supposed to be.
do
and
it.
then
Just do it.
it somehow turned into like the complete opposite.
Dude, Series 11's a better jumping on point.
Oh, dude, a huge jumping on point, Series 11. It's like the most recent one to jump on at.
Do you think people are going to look at the feds and go, this is too much context to me that I don't understand. I'm checking out, The feds in Kablam, good reference. A little bit of fun.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is just like, Sutek and fucking Omega.
Me when they mention Omega.
I cheered, I shouted, I fist pumped the air.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's just not, it's just not good TV.
What do you want to give it out of 10 though, Connor?
7.
7.
That's pretty high.
That is pretty high.
6.5.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, before you
No,
type.
the way you spoke about it.
You know
just,
what? You know what Aiden's like when you type it into the Excel. You can't. It's like a tattoo. You can't get rid of it
it
unless you
has
have.
to say.
Aiden, look at this. Ready?
I'm still blind.
That's great. That's a visual gag. Sorry, audio listeners.
Who listens on audio?
Not many.
What about you? Yeah, that's good. Nice to see our stats are doing well on Spotify. What are you going to give it, Aiden Green?
6.5 as well, I think. It's a little better just in terms of entertainment for me than last week, which I gave a 6. But yeah, definitely not. Hey, look, Joy to the World I gave a 6.5, and I think it's probably around the same mark. So
Yeah, well, at least Joy of the World has that fantastic second act.
and that fantastic final scene.
Oh, that's awful. What?
There was a moment
The Bethlehem Star?
where I thought this kid was gonna be Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and I was like, what's going on here? That was just something I thought, and I was like, Bethlehem, same director, maybe it's Jesus.
Was I tripping, or was the baby CGI?
It had a CGI like face, like smile and shit on it.
That's what they did in Space Babies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Can we? All right, end the God stuff in next week.
Yeah, done. Be done, please.
Done.
No more of this
Done.
God bullshit.
Done. No,
I'm sick of this
no more.
magical stuff. Why is the Rani Green Goblin as well, by the way? Why should the Green Goblin?
You know what? It's like, I don't know, and I just don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who knows? Who cares? More like Doctor Who gives a shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry,
Whoa.
I said it.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
God, the potential.
Yes.
The potential.
So much.
Ncuti Gatwa, Russell T Davies, Disney Plus, Murray Gold, the old crew back together, young talent like Millie and Verada. Oh my! Did you like Cherry and Carla's 2-second cameo? I told you.
When you said it would be a
Yeah.
2-second cameo, I was like, oh, it'll probably be like a scene or two. I'm sure. 2-second cameo, doing the same scenes we've seen, just with different dialogue.
Yeah, Carla loves to like rat on Ruby. Hey,
Yeah,
get this fucking woman out of my
Get
house.
this dog
I
out
don't
my
know
house.
who she. I don't know who she is. Ruff. Great.
All right, before I have to start, I've got to have a coffee fit. Sorry, folks.
We're coffee boys.
All right, we'll see you on Monday. Hopefully, maybe feel a little bit better. Let us know your thoughts and things down in the comments below. Love ya. We'll leave ya. Hopefully, you had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Aidan and Carter's podcast.
We're doing Doctor Who reviews.
on a Sunday.
Doing Doctor Who reviews.
Was this the Doctor when he was flying down on the balcony at the end?
Yeah, I was meant to press that when he was falling. He was giving that.
Oh, for fuck. I was just like, can you just end? I just want to drown my sorrows.
Yes, please.
Aiden had 10 million beers, not 4, 10.
No, I only had 2 beers last night.
2 beers?
Yeah.
You watched the game? Who won?
My team won.
They won again. Okay.
Yeah.
You see England cricket won?
Yeah. Mission Impossible, not a win. That's what I had. 2 beers.
Oh.
I watched Doctor Who, had 2 beers, watched a quarter of my footy team, and then went to Mission Impossible.
Went to watch Mission Impossible. That sounds like a great day out, actually.
No, but it was. But then I had, fine episode of Doctor Who, followed by beers, which was nice,
Yeah.
and then Mission Impossible, which just sent me to sleepy wibbies.
Were you coughing in the cinema?
No, just a tiny bit. Not a lot. Not a lot.
Hey, stop coughing.
We'll be back, bitches, next week. No, tomorrow.
Stop
I mean,
coughing. Who's the guy coughing in the cinema?
me in the cinema. No, Mr. Impossible, stop.
If it was the last movie, Dead Reckoning Part 1,
Yeah.
or I guess just Dead Reckoning now, people would think you probably had fucking COVID.
Yeah.
So I wasn't pointing at anything.
I thought you-
I was
what
like,
was
that's
that?
people in the cinema pointing at you. He's got COVID-19. Get him out of here. All right. Are you actually, is it a meme or are you actually doing it? God, are you alright? Aiden, speak to me. Are you dying?